Oh, yeah, fawn. I did see that. I did see that.
After his wife.
I can't.
Sorry.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Chair Will Hornaday, and I'd like to welcome you to the September Historic Resources Commission meeting. The HRC is a quasi-judicial body that's governed by the North Carolina General Statutes, the City of Asheville's Unified Development Ordinance, and Buncombe County Ordinance. We're authorized to hear requests for certificate of appropriateness for alterations, demolitions, new construction, and other work within historic districts or the alteration and demolition of historic landmarks, including preliminary review of subdivisions as specified in the ordinances for the HRC. I'll now ask commissioners, starting with Commissioner Holt, to introduce themselves.
Cecil Holt.
It's always fast.
Amy Moxley, architect.
Sue Oliva, American historian.
Will Hornaday from Albemarle Park.
Watkins, real estate broker.
Rob Mays.
Hans Scobie, residential construction.
Staff we have over here, we have legal,
Matt Holloway.
Alex Cole.
and a special appearance by Drew. All right, there we go. We'll now consider the minutes from last month's meeting of the HRC. Are there any corrections? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve the August 2025 minutes?
Motion to approve the August 2025 minutes.
Second? All right. We'll now begin the evidentiary hearings. For items listed on the agenda. As a quasi-judicial proceeding, the HRC is not setting policy, nor are we soliciting public opinion as to the desirability of an application. The HRC hears and considers evidence presented and applies the standards set forth in the standards for the specific historic district or landmark for that application. The HRC must make its decision upon competent, material, and substantial evidence to determine the facts of the hearing. The HRC will use judgment and discretion to apply the standards contained in the relevant standards to the facts. The commissioners in voting for an item will not have a fixed opinion not susceptible to change, have a conflict of interest, or have engaged in ex parte communication regarding the application. Rules for speaking. This meeting is open to the public, but participation is limited to interested parties who wish to provide comment testimony regarding the proposal. If you'll be speaking as a witness, please focus on the facts and how they relate to the relevant historic district standard, not personal preference or opinion. Witnesses must swear or affirm their testimony. At this time, I'm going to administer the oath to all individuals who intend to speak tonight. So if you're going to talk, stand up and raise a right hand.
You may not talk, but if in case you
All
want
right.
to, then.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the information you present during the hearing for a certificate of appropriateness or preliminary subdivision approval before the Historic Resources Commission shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank y'all. Y'all can sit down. And now, before we start our first public hearing, we have a application who would like to continue to the October meeting for 7 Banbury. Is there a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to continue 7 Banbury Cross till next month.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Thank you, Chair Hornaday and members of the commission. I think we'll probably be able to make it pretty quickly through the remainder of our agenda items today. So the first application is in Biltmore Village for 10 Biltmore Plaza. This application is to construct an exterior concrete ramp. This building's the better part of this block. So this picture is really of like one of the fronts of the building that faces Biltmore Plaza. And the photo on the left is just showing you where the ramp will go. If you can see like about in the middle of the picture, there's a gray steel door there. And that's where the ramp will go alongside of that side elevation below the windows and connect to that door. And on the right-hand side are just the elevation drawings showing the ramp. Not noted any, it's not obscuring any architectural features, and the materials and colors of the ramp and the handrail are coordinated with the facade of the building in accordance with the standards. And this will, I also use the Secretary of the Interior standards to reference that additional means of access will be compatible with the historic building and its setting. A paved concrete area anyway, so I'm not noting any concerns on this application, but happy to answer questions if you all have any.
Questions for staff? Thank you. Now we're going to call, come on up here and tell everybody. Are there any questions for the applicant? Thank you.
I just was,
Up.
come back.
Thank you. Any public comment? We're now
We're not done. You have to vote.
We're now going to open the floor for public comment. Is there anybody here who would like to speak on this? If someone's prepared to make such a thing?
Certificate of appropriateness. Chairman, based upon the evidence presented to this commission, including Exhibit A, application and project description, 6 pages, Exhibit B, elevation drawings, 7 pages, Exhibit C, site plan, 2 pages, Exhibit D, owner's affidavit, Exhibit E, photographs, 6 pages, Exhibit F, and the commissioner's actual inspection and review of the subject property by all. I move that this commission approve the certificate of appropriateness based on the following: that the application is for construction of a concrete ramp and black metal handrail adjacent to east-facing elevation on the north side of the building. All work will be completed in accordance with approved and attached drawings and plans. All permits, variances, or approval as required by law must be obtained before work may commence. 2, that the standards for rear entrances found on page 9, Chapter 2, Rehabilitation of Book 2, Rehabilitation of Existing Buildings of Biltmore Village Historic District Standards, adopted October 1st, 1988, and the standards for accessibility found in the Secretary of the Interior's Standards for Rehabilitation were used to evaluate this request. 3, this application does meet the design standards for the following reasons. A, new ramp and handrail will not obscure original materials or features. B, materials and colors of the ramp and handrail will be coordinated with the main facade. C, additional means of access will be compatible with the historic building and its setting. 4, that the action and improvements proposed in the application before us for a certificate of appropriateness are congruous with the special historic character of the Biltmore Village Historic District.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Based upon the foregoing findings and for the reasons set forth therein, I move that a certificate of appropriateness be issued.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
And your sparkling presentation.
Now we're going to jump over to Montford. The next application is for 216 Pearson Drive. And the application is for replacement of a roof. We 99% of the time review roof replacement administratively via minor work, except for when there's a change in material proposed. The existing roof is press tin shingle, and the application is to replace it with asphalt shingle. I know probably some of our veteran commissioners might remember that we had a similar application maybe a year ago on Chestnut Street. And the way that the standards are written, if you look at page 74 in particular, it talks about that over time, composition fiberglass asphalt shingles have replaced traditional roofing materials such as pressed metal shingles, standing seam metal, and wood shingles, and are now the most common material found in the district. And that was used to justify replacement for the other property. So there is a recent precedent for supporting this application. So I'm not noting any concerns, but happy to answer questions if you all have any.
Any questions for staff on the roof on Pearson? Pearson, right?
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you. We're now going to call up the applicant to talk to us a little bit. Tell us about their project, their hopes and dreams.
Well, basically, it's
Tell me your name. Okay, thank you for coming in. I should have asked you that at the beginning. It's not your, and you were sworn in.
so basically, you know, we have to replace the roof.
Are there any questions for the applicant? So it could be, it was, are you asking if it was original? Might be.
When's the last time anybody?
Yeah, that was the original roof.
I took a lot to Biltmore Recycling of that stuff. You've got about $700 on top of your roof. Okay, anybody else have questions for the applicant?
Some kind of a coating on it. House when we bought it, I don't even know exactly.
You don't know like when that was added or if that was original?
Patch. Yeah. Had a good long life. Had a good long life. Thank you. All right. Seeing no more questions, I think we're okay with you, and we're going to open it to more public comment. Is there anybody, we're going to open the floor to public comment. If there's anybody here who'd like to speak about this. Seeing none, I'm going to close the floor for public comment. And commissioners, discussion on this? changing of the roof material. Then I can entertain a motion if someone's prepared to make one.
Chairman, based upon the evidence presented to this commission, including Exhibit A, application and project description, 3 pages, Exhibit B, proposed materials and specifications, 12 pages, Exhibit C, photographs, 4 pages, Exhibit D, and the commission's actual inspection and review of the subject property by all members. I move that this commission approve the certificate of appropriateness based on the following. 1, that the application is to replace existing landmark asphalt shingle roof in colonial slate color. All work will be completed in accordance with the approved and attached drawings and plans. All permits and variances or approvals as required by law must be obtained before work may commence. 2, that the standards for roofs found on page 74 and 75 of the Montford Historic District Design Review Standards, adopted April 14th, 2010 and amended December 14th, 2016, were used to evaluate the request. 3, the application does meet the design standards for the following reasons. A, existing metal roofing is deteriorated and needs to be replaced. B, composition fiberglass asphalt shingles have replaced traditional roofing materials such as pressed metal shingles, standing seam metal, and wood shingle, and are now the most common roofing materials found in the district. C, modern materials that simulate original materials are acceptable. D, new roofing will be medium to dark in color. 4, the action and improvements proposed in the appropriateness are congruous with the special historic character of the Montford Historic District.
Is there a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Based on the foregoing and findings and for reasons set forth therein, I move that a certificate of appropriateness be issued.
Second? Second from Commissioner Mays. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that carries. Thanks a bunch for coming in, enjoying your time here.
All 5 minutes of it? Yeah.
Slow on this one, so we don't break our record for shortest meeting.
We're going to close the floor to staff comments.
Okay, last one, 128 Cumberland Avenue is for application for solar array, so just standard parcel map and photo of the front elevation. This house was just constructed. I think they finished it 2 years ago. And this is it's on the corner of Cumberland and West Chestnut, so just the photo on the left is looking at it from the West Chestnut side, where the panels will be visible to the street. So you can see like this is oriented so that the roof plan is oriented so that south is the bottom of the photo. So you can see that the majority of the panels will be on the south and west facing parts of the roof, so they will be visible-ish from the street. I don't know that, like, if you're walking by this house, you probably won't be able to see you won't be able to see the panels that are more on the internal part of the roof, but you will see the panels that are farthest to the south. But the commission, if you all recall, did approve an application for solar panels on a side-facing part of a roof not too long ago on Flint Street because wasn't a character-defining facade. So I feel like it's very similar, and this house isn't historic either. So I've not noted any concerns on this
Any questions for staff? We'll have you come up and tell us a little bit about some solar panels.
project manager, if this gets approved. I want to start by saying that the main their basement, Mike, yeah, their basement flooded during Helene. They had 2 feet of water come up into their basement, and it destroyed their HVAC unit. They had to rip out the drywall 2 feet, to the studs to fully fix the damage that was done. The battery system with the solar is the main point of this project, to make sure that their sump pumps that they have installed, in the event of a long-term outage happens again, that they do not have that extensive damage again. Happy to answer any questions.
Are there any questions for the applicant?
No, ma'am, this is a solar plus battery installation. So the batteries are going to be in their basement. The solar is there to recharge the batteries if the grid's down.
The mechanical system was in the basement and it got damaged during the flood, I believe.
So we've had, the client has had sump pumps installed into their basement, so they can prevent flooding like that from their foundation. Auxiliary power for that.
The offset? The power offset?
Home. Not information that I have. Do you mind if I look it up for you really quick?
I'm noticing that it's not on the front at all, really.
Yeah, so the front of their home is a northern facing roof. Oh, yeah.
And there's nothing on the ADU, just the main house. Other questions for the applicant? Time. Okay. I think we're set. Thank you very much. I'm going to open the floor to public comment. If there's any attorneys who want to talk. Good. All right, I'm going to close the floor for public comment. Commissioners, any further discussion on the solar panels on Cumberland, Chestnut? If someone would like to make a motion, we'll see what happens. Thank you.
Motion to approve certificate of appropriateness. Chairman, based upon the evidence presented to this commission, including Exhibit A, application and project description, 4 pages, Exhibit B, site plans and renderings, 4 pages, Exhibit C, material specifications, 16 pages, Exhibit D, owner's affidavit, Exhibit E, photographs, 3 pages, Exhibit F, and the commission's actual inspection and review of the property. I move that this commission approve the certificate of appropriateness based on the following. 1, that the application for installation of 17 solar panels on the north, south, and west-facing sections of roof. All work will be completed in accordance with approved and attached drawings and plans. All permits, variances, or approvals as required by law must be obtained before work may commence. 2, the standards for sustainability and emerging technology found on pages 80, 81 of the Montford Historic District Design Review Standards adopted April 14th, 2010, and amended December 11th, 2019 were used to evaluate this request. 3, this application does meet the design standards for the following reasons. B, existing house is not historic. There will therefore not be detrimental impact to the structure. C, solar energy collectors have been located as inconspicuously as possible, while still allowing for reasonable use. D, solar devices on roof surfaces facing the right-of-way are located on a side elevation and will not have a detrimental impact to the integrity of the neighborhood. 4, that the action and improvements proposed in the application before us for a certificate of appropriateness are congruous with the Special Historic District character.
Is there a second? Second Moxley. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
On the foregoing findings and for the reasons set forth therein, I move that a certificate of
Is there a second? Humphrey, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the motion passes. Thank you very much for coming in. Time well spent.
Fun item, National Register nomination. We don't get these super often. Before I forget, thank you to Commissioner Oliva and Commissioner Mays last week, where we talked a lot about National Register stuff. So just as a reminder, because you all are certified local government, then you all are responsible for reviewing and giving advisory feedback to the SHPO on National Register nominations within your jurisdiction, which is Asheville and the rest of Buncombe County, except for the other incorporated areas within the county. We probably see like one or two here, maybe one. This one is for what you all probably know as Riverview Station and Boundy. Complex of buildings historically was known as the Hans Rees Tannery. And hopefully you all had time to review the nomination. It was one of the largest tannery operations in this part of the country, and not an insubstantial site. They are fast tracking this National Register nomination so that the folks who are recovering from Helene can take advantage of rehab tax credits retroactively. So this one came through in a hurry. So excited to see this go forward, and hopefully this means that there's a little bit of financial relief for the folks down there doing rehab work. So any questions, thoughts?
Or for this one, have all the owners joined in?
I don't know, because I do know that there are multiple owners for this site. I think that there's I think it's one family that owns the Riverview Station buildings, the two in the front. And then I think it's another group that owns the buildings behind where the Wedge was, and I don't even know, and Summit Coffee was back there. I think there's some stuff reopening back there. And I think that for National Register nomination, they do have to have like consent from the owner for the nomination, but they don't have to have, I'm trying to think. Yeah, they do have to have, like, all parties have to, I think, have to sign off on the nomination, but it's really not like doesn't do anything. It's not like a zoning overlay, or it doesn't have any restrictions attached to it unless people do want to apply for the tax credits. And so in that way, it could make it a little interesting. Because what if one building over here by this owner falls to the ground? Does that affect the integrity of the entire complex? I don't know. I think we're just trying to, like, it was study listed before Helene, so fortunately it was eligible for, they're all eligible for variances, because otherwise if it hadn't been study listed beforehand, they would have to come in the full compliance with that flood ordinance. But now I'm just rambling off to an aside. I'm just really excited to see them have at least something to help. So like we've been trying to like in every way connect dots for people, you know, when we know people want to rehab their buildings, like, because no money has come available to date that is for physical rehab of structures. There may be some of that in CDBG DR funds that we have, but that is like a 6-year time frame. And it's my understanding that we can't use any of that money to do retroactive projects, and everybody's already rehabbing their buildings. So it was the property owner that consulted with the SHPO, and they were like, yes, we do want to go forward with this. So wasn't a city-led initiative, so.
I think if one of the owners enters a formal objection to listing, then that will probably defeat the listing. But they don't all need to consent to be listed, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and nobody, I talked to the SHPO, our Hannah, the preservation specialist in the Western office today about this, and she didn't say there have been any objections. And we'll go to the National Register, just so you know that the next step in the process is the National Register Advisory Committee is a statewide body that's kind of a mix of staff appointed from the Department of Natural and Cultural Resources as well as professionals from across the state, so they have representation from the West too on this committee. And they meet 3 times a year to consider study list applications. And the National Register nominations, and their next meeting is October, early October sometime, and they'll meet to consider this and whatever else they have on their agenda, but it should go through, and then the next step is it will go up to the keeper of the National Register at the Park Service, and that's the person who does the final sign-off. So you don't have to, there's no formal action you have to take unless you just have comments. There's just a comment letter that the chair signs that says you all have.
How many structures is it?
I think 6 were contributing, I think, and maybe 1 that wasn't.
All carrot, no stick, I guess.
Exactly. They are already rebuilding.
Are they?
Oh, yeah. There's
Okay.
stuff that's about to reopen. I don't know about Riverview Station.
Yeah, Riverview Station, like.
They
if you
might
go-
have, they might be going a different route entirely. I don't
You can retroactively
apply for
bring
the tax
your
credits.
receipts.
Yeah, so usually what we do, like what we did early on, was connect them with the SHPO staff who reviews the tax credit projects as well. And so what they do then is say, okay, here's what to not do if you want to apply for the rehab tax credits, and like document everything. Of course, they have to for insurance purposes anyway, but or to what, to be historically significant. And they've been made themselves available throughout this entire year to advise to folks who are interested in getting the tax credits retroactively, because that's a great point. That is super important. That, and it's got like a 30-month look-back period, so that's why they're trying to get this done so quickly, so that or just so you know, we at our training they had some flyers on rehab tax credits. If you guys want to, if you're not super familiar with that, that's obviously not a program that we administer, but it's something that I recommend everyone know about because it's good information to share with others in the community in terms of incentives that exist for preservation. Brought some of their leftover printouts to bring to our commission meetings from now on so that, we can hopefully share with more people. But there's an income-producing tax credit. When combined with the state tax credit is 35%, which is not small. That's for qualifying rehab expenses, including your preservation consultant, if you have one, all of your architecture, design-related fees, construction. The only thing it doesn't cover is construction of new buildings or additions. And then there's also, just FYI for folks that own historic houses, there is a residential income, non-income producing tax credit at 15% as well. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think that one's got it's like a $12,000 cap or something. Yeah, that is an important distinction about the tax credit is with the SHPO, they do govern the interior
Income producing is higher, like these are income producing properties are higher than,
Yeah, I don't, I forget what the cap is for income producing.
but then there's also federal.
That one is it's 20% at the federal level and then 15%. We Didn't bring the, probably have as many takers on the mill tax credit, but there's also a mill tax credit as well. And I think that these might fall under the mill tax credit. I don't know if like a tannery, how they make, why they would make that distinction. They're the same style era of building that serve very similar purposes. Anyways, we have printouts on that too. So that's all. I'll be quiet. See, I really am trying to make us.
Any more questions for Alex? Thank you. So now we're at the other comments from commissioners and public. And I wanted to say that the Grove Park is having a home tour, historic home tour, sorry for screaming, this weekend. And the South Asheville Cemetery is having a work day on Saturday morning, St. John's A Baptist Church in Kenilworth. They had a lot of tree damage and then more tree damage. Kind of a mess. But it's getting better. Anybody else have any
I noticed, Alex, that you sent around a brochure for the like preservation professional a 2-day seminar, right?
There was, in a couple weeks ago, was the NAPC
Oh, that already happened.
summer short course. Yeah, that was a couple weeks ago. And then Preservation North Carolina Conference is October.
Okay, October.
7th. And so that will, it looks like an interesting agenda. If you want to register, unfortunately, we don't have any training money
Yeah.
for you guys to go, but obviously it should be a great event. We're poor, post-Helene poor.
Milwaukee?
Am I going to Milwaukee? I really would love to go to Milwaukee, but
Online version that had a lot of, I saw an email today about some topics that kind of we cover.
is this our passport or? Okay, yeah, the passport, the National Trust Conference is also in October. Next week? Okay. And they do offer online, like virtual sessions if you want to sign up for that. And then there's also the Southeastern Architectural Historian Organization is having their conference here later this month. So there's a lot going on. We are still working on planning our educational event, so stay tuned. We just got a lot of other stuff going on as far as recovery projects. Before I forget, on a different note, the email that I sent out earlier today about the new 4 advisory boards to council, I wanted to explain that it's not just the historic, I don't know, have you all followed that at all? I know because you're not an advisory, and you do advise on some things, but you're partly a regulatory board that has statutory charge. Well, we've got a ton of other advisory boards. The city does. They've been on pause since before Helene. Just you all, Planning and Zoning, our Design Review Committee, Council, and Board of Adjustment have been active since Helene. So they've been trying to figure out how the other advisory boards can best support recovery work. And so what they did was they decided to create 4 new recovery-specific boards, and they'll have appointees from the advisory boards. So because you all don't fall into that bucket, you won't have any representation on those 4 recovery boards. And so what I sent you today was the info about the deadline to apply. I think it's September 28th or something. If you want to apply for any of those, there's infrastructure,
People, economy and the environment, and then housing.
and so there is opportunity if you want to apply. I mean, I know I'm sure you guys have plenty of extra time outside of this and all the other things you do, but if you're interested, I would encourage you to apply. And I'll also just say that you all and Board of Adjustment and our Planning and Zoning Commission will play an important role in our UDO and comp plan update that are going to be coming with our recovery projects that we're working on. So, so just don't feel like you're not going to be involved in the recovery work at all. It's just that they didn't fold in our quasi-judicial functions underneath those recovery.
I just will have one comment, which is that I wasn't able to be here and I could hear about half of what was said.
Yeah, we're still having trouble with the mics. The contractor that set all this up is coming back, I think, what do you say? To try to get it all ironed out, but, so yeah, we know it's still tough times with our tech, not upgrades.
Talk close.
They said within like 6 inches is like maybe the safe space, but they said that one of the things that was happening at whatever meeting was last week, that it still would like randomly drop out, so we don't know what's going on. It's driving everybody crazy, so.
Drew's working on it.
Yeah.
Any other comments? Then, is there a motion to close the meeting at 4:43?
Make a motion.
Go do now.
Up.
I'm not used to
Mr.
getting
Holt
out
came
this
in
early.
first on
Okay.
that. Is there a second?
I'll
from-
second.
I second.
We've got lots of going on.
We're all ready to go.
Meeting adjourned. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.